Can you find a scripture that says God is in heaven? Tell.
The contrary is the opposite.
Hold on, let me turn off the microphone so I can hear you.
I'm just saying, on the contrary, it says the very opposite. It says the very opposite. It said that if you're seeking the kingdom of God, if you're seeking God in certain places, you're not going to find God there.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to everyone.
Welcome to the platform. We're just having an open discussion. I guess you might have been following. You can go ahead and speak if you want to add something to what we are saying right there.
Yes. There is a passage, I think, in Exodus that speaks that the Almighty spoke to the children of Israel from heaven. But who the Almighty is, life would dwell in the most holiest place, who He is. So I'm pretty sure that He will dwell within heaven. He will dwell in heaven, yeah. You're breaking up. Repeat that.
Oh, I'm breaking up. Well, it's kind of raining. I don't know if you're hearing me clear now.
Yeah,
It's kind of rain. Okay. So you're saying that God dwells in heaven, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to the book of Genesis chapter 1 and verse 1. It says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. I think we can agree on that, right? Now, my question is, did He exist before He created the heavens? Or
Yeah, life exists before.
not life. The thing that
who you're referring to is what?
when you use the word God, what is your understanding of that? What is it that you're referring to?
All right. So who we call God through name is life. So who people are referring to as God, His true description is life. So life is a source that will dwell. He's a consuming fire. He will dwell in the most holiest place. Life dwells in the most cleanest place within earth. Within the space, He will dwell.
Your concept, but hold on, I was trying to accept this person. Shalom, Gary. Welcome. I'm trying to accept you. I don't know what's happening. Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna work with your concept, but I'm just gonna share my understanding as well. What I mentioned earlier about what's hello. Yeah. What I mentioned earlier about the polar opposites, right? That is not God Himself. God is beyond that. So day and night would not be God. He is beyond that. So life has a polar opposite, which is death. So if life has a polar opposite, it has a beginning and an end. So to say God is life, in my understanding, we don't do that. But I'm going to work with your concept because I think we mutually understand each other. But let's deal with the God or the life that you use, right?
Okay, all right. So there is no polar opposite when it comes down to life. Man's life is different from life. So if you notice everything that He creates, right? Everything that He creates is an eternal thing. You get what I'm trying to tell you? Everything has its seeds within itself. So He creates everything that has an eternal process to consistently be within the realm of life. Now, life is between male and female. So the Almighty is someone that produces life. His own similitude consistently produces life. So Himself is a consistent keeping itself, always producing itself, basically. That's life. So when I said life, I want you to look at the grid for the whole earth that keeps everything going. Like when they say God possessed the heaven and earth, it's actually life possessed them that keeps going. When they say God is omnipotent or omnipresent, life is what is omnipresent in the whole sphere. The whole earth, because earth is not a sphere. Life is what that's omnipresent, it's everywhere. So we live in a system that is between male and female. So when you read the beginning, He said, let us create man in our own image. He made a male and a female because He was talking to a female counterpart. And if you look, everything is male and female. The sun is the male, the moon is the female, the day is the male, the night is the female, the east part of the earth is the male, the west part of the earth is the female. We live in a male and female a structure that produce everything male and female.
concept,
Go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, I understand your concept, but like I said, in this dimension, everything is polar opposite. So if there is life, it means there is death, and where the Most High is, there is no death. So, but what you call life, I'll use the word source then for us to have a common ground. All right. So we understand the concept. We're not going to debate, or I understand your concept. You understand mine, I think. So
No.
life then.
Life dictates. Hold on. Life dictates who he wants to live for a period of time.
Hold on. Repeat. Let me turn off the microphone.
Yeah. So life dictates who he wants to live. Life has no end. As I just showed you, he makes everything according to himself. That he has a perpetual cycle. That you are like you are an eternal being. You have your seed within yourself to consistently create you, because your seed is you. It's your flesh. The mango tree has its seed within itself to consistently keep itself. The animals has its seed within itself to consistently keep itself. So imagine now the Almighty is a source that consistently generates itself. Like the whole, his image keeps him going always. His laws also keep him going always. So the Almighty is infinite. He is a perpetual being. If you can study this, you could study him by yourself and see everything I'm telling you. It's not a concept. It's a fact. And everything I just outlaid is within our realm. And it's a cycle of our realm. I've never taken anything from my own opinion and put it together. It is something that you can observe for yourself and see that it's here.
Saying, but the choice of words is making things different. This is why I said what I'm speaking is it has to contain a reality. For example, life. For example, plants have life. Plants do die. Human beings have life. We die. Animals. The seed that you're talking about is the spirit. The spirit is something that is separate. So that seed that you're talking about, the spirit, would be that.
Tell me what is more important than life, and what is more mighty than life? What is more special than life in all the universe? Because the Almighty would have a more special name. Notwithstanding, the mannerisms of the Almighty is life itself. The mannerisms. The Almighty, he said, I am what I am. So if you're going to study him, you're going to come to the same conclusion that you're looking at life. Not only that, if you were to think like life, you would make the same laws of life. Like, for instance, is it God that need a Sabbath day or life? A day of rest. Rest is important to life. So he's going to put a day that is significant to rest, because life sees the significance of this. It's life that requires everything to be clean. It's life that requires, because life knows to keep consistently exist, he needs to be clean. He needs to be holy. So I'm trying to say that if you were to study life, you even would agree with the laws as well.
Is life and the source of life the same thing? Or is there, can you see, identify a difference between the two? Listen to the question. Yeah, go on.
Okay.
I want you to answer the question though. I'm going to turn off the microphone.
The source of life is life. The source of life is life. What is it?
What is the source of death?
No, I'm just saying, life becomes a thing like when he wants them to exist. He's the one that say, you know what, this tree, it will live for this period of time. Man will live for 130 years. He gives the length of time to things. Life could say, hey, let the tree live forever, and it will live forever. He could say to man, let man live forever, and you will not die. But what he does, it's like a change of skin. So everything has its seed within itself. Like you have you within yourself to consistently produce you. So you're gonna have a son. Your son create you. You consistently create. Even though they have a different mind, your sperms is you.
When a baby comes into the world, like a woman in the hospital now opening her legs and a baby is coming out, you don't call that life, right?
It's a life thing. It is a life thing. Life dictates how long he wants that person to live according to its work.
No, so what I'm saying is, okay, do you believe that day is the ending of night and night is the ending of day? Do you believe in polarities?
I'm gonna stick with what I see. I do agree that, you know what I mean, I would say travels, like day and night travels. Things travel, it travels. Like it's, as I said, it's male and female working together. So I see the day, and I know for a fact the day is the male and the night is the female. So one is a protector, a source of life, and one is a nurturer to bring forth the life. Like if you study spring, right? You see, at night you would have the frost or the dew set in. That's like milk to the leaves. But in the day, the sun comes out and shine on the leaf and feed it, what you call photosynthesis or whatever you guys call it, right? But at night now, the hands are so feminine and soft and tender, and it feeds it milk. And then in the morning, you will see the leaves come out bright and vibrant. So it's male and female working together. So everything in the earth is structured male and female, as I said. Everything. Negative and positive energy. That's what you live in.
Understand what you say, but what I'm asking, because I'm only asking to understand more deeper into your belief or what you're putting forth. So I'm saying no, with all that you explain, is that the same thing as what I call the source of life? Because I asked you earlier, is life and the source of life the same thing?
No,
So
so
I'm just gonna
life. So we're in the realm of life.
hold on. Okay, hold on. Before you go further, let me just give an analogy because I like to have something tangible when I speak. For example, I would say the source of life for the fish is water. I don't know if you can agree to that. I would say the source of life for the tree is the earth that it is planted in. Do you agree with that type of concept? That the source of life for that is that?
If those things were the source of life, they will perpetually
Hold on,
live.
let me turn off the microphone so I can hear you better. Go ahead again.
All right. If those things was the source that keeps them, they will perpetually live. But they die. If life choose to walk away from mankind, they will die. So life is a consuming fire. That, you see, like how you have a fire that sometimes it sparks like ambers. Instead of he sparks ambers, his ambers will be like the butterflies, the birds, the things that he creates comes off his flame. You get what I'm saying? So he used the earth and the water to mold these things into existence. That's why everything comes from the earth. What I'm trying to say to you, if these things live in their source, that is life, then, you know what I mean, they will live forever. They will consistently live. Someone has to keep life in them.
Hold on. I don't want you to over explain because you know what you believe already. What I'm asking you for me to get more understanding of what you're saying. You don't have to do the explanation because that's for you. What I'm asking you is for me to understand what you're really saying or where you stand. So what I'm saying is because you really haven't answered the question if the life and the source of life is the same. So my question is, do you believe in the Bible like in that context, like
I fence myself within the Torah, which is the first Bible study.
oh, you don't really believe beyond the Torah?
Well,
You're
you could find some accurate thing that comes from
okay.
within.
So what about okay, now I understand more. So what about wisdom of Solomon? Do you believe in that those writings?
In those days, mankind was incapable to write a book or read in that time.
Happen?
So if they're saying that Solomon would be beyond 2,000 years ago, the population of the earth would not be. I think you probably find. So I could know that 2,025 years ago, you'd find only Noah, Shem, and Japheth on the face of the earth at that time. 2,000 years ago, the population of mankind wouldn't be a lot. So there was no kingdom of Solomon and all these things. Those are propaganda.
saying there's a book called The Wisdom of Solomon. I'm asking if you believe in the writings.
No. I only read the book of the Almighty. So the Almighty is the author of the first 5 books of the Bible.
Okay. So you are Torah only, basically.
Yes, because it's the Almighty right writing.
Okay, so that means I could not validate, I could not use these scriptures to have a conversation with you because you don't go beyond the Torah, basically. Okay, so what I'm saying, somebody has a question for you in the comment. The person says, if water is the source of the fish and earth is the source of the tree, what is man's source? What is the source of man? Because if you hold on,
I'm gonna say it again. The source of everything alive is life. If life is not in everything, they will die.
life is in everything, right? But is the same life in the fish? That what is dependent upon? Is it the same thing that you dependent upon? Do you depend?
Yes.
So you can. So if I put you in the water, under the water, you can live there because that's gonna be.
Environment that he made me for.
Huh?
That wasn't the environment that he made.
So that means there's a difference. So it cannot be the same and different at the same time, right? Can day and night be the same thing?
Okay, all right.
Hold on. I'm trying to understand you. So I want to first know. You're speaking, brother. When you're speaking, I stop so I can understand you, but you have to listen. Don't be so quick to explain your point. I'm trying to listen to understand you. So I would like that we can have a respectful reasoning, not debating or like we're fighting each other. I want to understand what you're saying. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right. So I want to understand exactly what you're saying. So I want to know, like, life. Is all life the same life? Are there different states of life in this big eternity? Like I said, what the tree depends on is not what the fish depends on, and what the fish depends on is not what the mammals depend on. So yes, all of this you can put under the umbrella of life, but the source of life, is it the same? That's my question. This is the comment this is in the comment section. Can you answer that question directly without deflecting? Can you do that? Let me turn off the microphone. Go ahead.
So it's not deflecting to answer the question correctly and to educate you on the proper thing. So so the fishes are in a total different environment from us. They're in a total different environment. They being within their environment does not necessarily mean that's their source of life. Man, you ever heard the words, man don't live by bread alone, but by the words of the Almighty? Because so what I'm trying to say to you, basically, their environment are different. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's their source of life. The water doesn't mean necessarily that's their source of life. They have to eat. So life is what provide the food for them, that grows food and give the fishes food. Life is what gives the tree life, are provided nutrients for the trees. Because if he walks away, let's say, let me give you an example. Let's say in Africa, in some places in Africa, the people are disobedient. They have false gods. They have graven images that life detests, right? And life will take away, would harden the earth and make the trees don't grow anything. But the trees are still in the earth. They're still in the earth, but yet he withheld his hand from there and no food comes from the tree, no leaves, but yet the tree is not dead. And the tree is still in the earth. So when life would say, I'll walk contrary unto you, right? He's basically walking away from man, and that is a devastating thing because life walks away. Then you will find out famine start on your nation, plagues come on the earth. He will create evil locusts and frogs. Life produces things according to the thoughts of his anger, and do these things unto man. He creates things with life. That's what he does. So just as when your angry thoughts come to your mind, right? But the Almighty anger is different. Whatever comes to your mind, he can create it. He could create the serpent. He could create anything he wants in multitude. That's life. I'm talking about the source that keeps us alive. Look, man can't live without God, right? Yes, we can't, because we can't live without life. He's the one that sent the food in the earth. We can't live without him. He's like the source that we are all Wi-Fi to then. We're connected to him, basically.
I think you start to put the source with something that is produced, because food is something that is produced. Like if you go and pick an apple, the apple is not the source of life for the apple tree. It is the fruit that is produced, right? So, for example, I asked you earlier if the fish, the source of life for the fish is the water, because the real question is whether life is different from the source of life. So I'm saying fish lives in water, in aquatic environment, right? No, there are certain time of the year that the river dries up. So when the water is not circulating, is not flowing, the oxygen dies, everything dies, right? So what happens? The water is still there. The very water that the fish breathe in, are under, are in, whatever it is, right? That very water is no more livable for the very same fish. So what I'm saying is the source of life and life itself the same thing? I hope you understand what I just explained about the fishes in the river, because we have to rescue these fishes every year. Every time when the river dries up, we have to rescue them. So when the water stops flowing and the river dries, right? There's a little body of water still there. The fish are still swimming around there, but after a process of time, the oxygen, the spirit, whatever you call it, the seed, that thing is removed from the water is still there. Do you understand my analogy? So, no, do you understand my question with the analogy that I just asked?
I do understand your question.
So, are they the same or are they different?
The source of life is life. We can't live without life, brother. You have to think about it. Like we eat,
I didn't ask about us. We were talking about fish.
Yeah, hold on. The fish.
Okay.
They have to live because of life, because life is what produces the food for them to eat. It's not they can't just drink water and then go die. So life is in the food that they eat. Life is in the apple. Life is
Don't
in the
go so
carrot.
far. Okay, let me just cut you.
That you eat. Life is the producer of things.
Can I just stop you for a second? What I'm saying is, when you keep explaining your point, you keep deflecting and going away from. I'm just asking you one simple. I want you to stay within the context, because now people want us to go back to what we were saying. Because what you're doing is, I'm only trying to ask you questions that you're saying. I'm not trying to impose my beliefs on you. I'm asking you what you're saying, but you're not answering the question, because you still cannot tell me if. Hold on. If life has a beginning, that means death is its ending. If the day has a beginning, that means night is its ending. But both of them together, the two polarities come together, they make one. That oneness is what we call God. But he is not the day and he is not the night. He is not the life and he is not the death. He is himself separate. This is why I said to you earlier, if he created the heavens, where did he dwell before? Because he cannot dwell in, he did not create, did he create the heaven and then go inside heaven to live? This is where we are coming from, but we haven't really get to that point because of you trying to explain your point rather than reasoning with me. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, or can we go back to the original? Because you're not answering it.
We could say a point. All right.
So which one are we going to deal with? Are we going to deal with?
I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna break it down for you.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna break it down for you. All right. If you have a child, right? If you have a child, 1-year-old child, right? What would happen if you abandon a child and leave it by itself?
I mean, somebody can take care of the child.
No. I'm talking about like how important is the parent. I'm not talking about somebody come and rescuing the child or anything like that. What would happen if you're not there to tend to the child? If life is not there to tend to the child?
No, if I'm not there, then the image of the child would be destroyed, but the child would not physically die.
All right. So one more thing. So I'm trying to show you that we live within the realm of life. We live in a realm of life, and life is between male and female. So the Almighty is a consuming fire, and the woman is an eternal water. She's like a water source. Right? These are the two things we live between. So today, mankind is being parented by male and female. We are created by male and female. Everything that you see, and it parent us at the same time. We survive and live because of them, because they consistently feed the realm with life. Life is our source of life, because life has to source us life for us to consistently live, to provide the food, to provide everything for we to live.
Death, the ending to life, in your understanding.
When I said life, there is no death. I just explained that life is a perpetual thing. It's always there. It's always existed. Like for instance, in the beginning when he said there was it was darkness upon the face of the deep. He's the light. So you have, let's say everything is negative and positive, right? So the Almighty is the positive and the darkness was the negative. Right? So you have something physical in the realm and then you have a void. He is the physical and then you have the void. So he was always. So what I'm trying to say, if you study life is something that keeps itself perpetually. It is something that generates life always. Always, no ending. It's not like man that he put a time on man. He can make man live forever.
All right.
Let me show you something. Look. Life created a tree, right? In the garden, the tree of life. He could grow a tree, just as though you get medicine from the trees, them. He could grow a tree to say, hey, that tree, I'll make you to make me live forever. That's how powerful life is. Life can create things to make him live forever. But he doesn't need that because himself consistently produce himself produce all the things you see. Like life comes from him every time. When he walks, wherever he does, life has come from him.
All right, give me a second, brother. The sister wants to say something. Let me just allow her to speak. Go ahead, Empress.
I was just having a hard time wrapping my head around the idea that God would need to exist inside of his creation or its creation, because the way I view it, before anything existed, God was. And so it's a self-existing one. So he did not need the heavens or anywhere specific to reside. He exists outside of space and time and matter. So that's my idea. And to box or conceptualize the existence of the Most High to a point that we want to understand it, that's when we start to get lost in other things. There's nothing to which we can compare the Most High. We can only observe the existence through the creation that is produced.
Right. Okay. I don't know if Sword of Life was here earlier, but the thing that I explained earlier, you're coming now and proving everything that I just explained with what the English language does, because when you speak, there's not a reality there. And that's what you're confirming now about using words. So what I'm saying is, right, the life and the source of life are two different things. So what happens is life has a polar opposite, which is death. The Most High, are the father of creation, or whatever you call it. That thing does not have a polar opposite, but in your head you're saying that he is light and there was darkness. So there is something outside of him. There's something different that's the negative towards him. No, he himself carries two nature, the masculine and feminine, not male and female, masculine and feminine. These are potencies. You have the masculine potent, you have the feminine potent, you have judgment, you have mercy. You understand? You have wisdom, you have understanding. So knowledge is that light, that fire that you're talking about, that is the light of knowledge. That is that power. That is that spirit, right? So when you're dealing with the Father exists in eternity. That is his habitation. He cannot exist in his creation. So when he says in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, he did not create the heaven and step inside to dwell there. He says the heaven is my throne. Can you search for that scripture? It says the heaven is my throne. So let me ask you something. What's his name? Donald Trump, right? He's the president of America. Does he have to live in the office in the White House, or does he rule from the White House? So guess what? He can be in vacation in South America. And if he sends out an order on the behalf of the White House, guess what? It's going to go out. So he doesn't have to be in the White House to rule from the White House. You understand? So the Most High is in eternity. but he rules from the heaven. He says his throne, the heaven is his throne. His throne is not in the heavens. The heavens itself is his throne. So guess what? If you want to send a certain thing in the earth, it's gonna show in the heavens. So the sun gonna pass through this constellation and it's gonna send a certain weather upon the earth. If it's earthquake, he rules from the heaven, but he does not live
I'm not
inside there.
disagreeing with you on that, not even a minute. I've never disagreed with you on that. I never said the Almighty does not dwell in heaven. In fact, I said that it's there that the Almighty had spoke to us from heaven. I started off by saying that. But what I'm trying to say to you, my brethren, right? What I'm trying to say to you is that you are your son. You are your son, you know. Your son is you, you know. Would you disagree with me with that? Who's your son? Because the Almighty said that that's your flesh.
To say fruit, a fruit is something that is
No.
produced.
Hold on. Can we find it? If you want to go back to that, can we find that the Almighty had stated that that's your mother is your flesh. You should not see their flesh because that's your flesh.
You have to understand the context in which certain things are being said.
Hold on. We're going to get liquor by liquor, right? In the beginning, the Almighty said he blew the breath of life into Adam. Let's say this. There is no name in all of the earth that is more mighty or significant than life or even more special than life. That name is actually what you could see as what is the Most High. The Almighty has his hand on everything because he has life in everything. He can touch everything with his hand because life is connected to that. He could come to you in dreams because he could run through that current of life. Life
I'm sorry,
is
but
the most mighty. Listen, life is sit above everything because it possesses everything. When the Almighty said, I am the possessor of heaven and earth, right? It's life that we see that possess them. Life possess them. No matter if you sit in heaven, he still possess them. That's what possess means. He
Right,
possesses
sword.
the earth. He possesses
All
the
right.
trees.
Hold on. Sword of life. You said you are Torah only, right? Okay. Since you are going down that road, let's really bring out the scriptures because we can go Torah only. You mentioned earlier that God blew breath in Adam, right? Let's go to the scriptures. You have a Bible with you?
No, I'm not sure what's going to this. No, I'm
Okay. Do you know? Hold on. Huh?
I know it very well. I know that I'm talking to.
Okay, tell me the precept. Tell me the precept. Let me find it, and we can go from the Bible because you are Torah only, right? So, what when you said he blew breath into Adam? What's this? Give me the scripture that I can find it and we can read it.
It's somewhere. So let me first say this. I read the Bible like a history book. So I don't really take the verse them and go all over the place. I read like a history book.
Okay. So, are you referring to Genesis 2 verse 7 when he says he formed man from the dust of the ground? Is that what you're quoting from?
And he was speaking to someone.
Okay. Let me read it. It says, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. That's the scripture you're quoting from, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you said he put breath into Adam, as in
Death of himself.
okay, and that does what? What does that do to him?
Become a living soul.
So what was he before a living soul?
What? He was nothing.
He was nothing. What scripture is that he says he was nothing before he became?
Adam was non-existent without the Almighty.
No, hold on. Remember, I said the scripture says the law is the truth, and you said you are Torah only. So I'm getting into your dimension of Torah only, and we're gonna deal with things from the standpoint of Torah. Are you okay with that? I can go Torah only with you if you want.
I'm okay, but you wouldn't.
No. There's no but. It's either hold on. It's either you're okay or you're not okay. So are you okay with me going Torah only so we can get into the reality?
Yes, you could go Torah only.
Okay, so you said he breathed into us, Adam, and Adam was nothing before. Explain the nothing that Adam was before. He breathed into him.
Adam wasn't that far. He wasn't a living soul.
So what was he?
He wasn't in existence until the Almighty created him.
Okay, so when it says, hold on. So when it says, thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. So you're saying when he finished the earth, Adam that should have been in the earth was not finished. I want you to understand my question. Don't just speak. Understand my question, then you answer my question. When the scripture says the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of the heavens and the earth, right? You are saying that Adam was not part of the host of the earth.
If you want to go down to say Adam was an atom, he was an atom like the being was the dust of the ground. If you want to say that, I'm not gonna take the word to the left nor to the right. But Adam wasn't an existence.
Said, hold on. You said you are Torah only. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so we are dealing with Torah now. We're dealing with the first 5 books of Moses, right?
No, it's not of Moses, the book of the Almighty.
Yeah, the first 5 books, of the Almighty, right? That's what we're dealing with, right?
Yes.
So this is no alchemy. We're dealing with the first 5 books.
Yes.
So it's either we're dealing with what's written in the book, or we're not dealing with what's written.
Yes.
So you said. So let's go back to, you said he breathed into Adam, and in verse 7, right? But verse 1 says the host of the heavens and the earth. Is Adam considered part of the host of the earth? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so if the scripture says this, if the book of the Almighty says the hosts of the earth were finished, you know what finished means? Complete, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
So if it was complete, why would there be a need for him to go back on the same 7th day that he claimed he was resting, to go back and physically do work? That's something is not right with this Torah then.
No. So hold on. So Adam was created. So you got to understand the Bible. So the Almighty has prefaced what he was gonna do. Then he described what he had done. So he went through all the process to describe. So he would say, "Let us create man," right? And he said that, and then now he will describe the event and how he created man. Probably in 3 and 4, he will describe all the events of that and how they came about to it. So you got to read the Bible with understanding. So he would say it first, he mentioned it, and then he go into the description of what he had done.
Hold on. Before you answer that, brother Elijah said, Jaja, would you like to come up and assist your brother Elijah? In the meantime, go ahead, Empress, and then Sword of Life can speak. Go ahead, Empress.
Yeah, Elijah.
I was just saying that you use very many words, and you know what I noticed in your explanation, because there was a thing that you had said initially that I wanted to address, but with your many words, I can't even remember what I wanted to address. But the thing is, you said something that I disagree with, because there are levels of understanding when it comes to scripture. But the fact that you said that you're Torah only, but then you quoted from the New Testament, saying that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds.
That's in Deuteronomy. So it's plagiarism. The New Testament is a plagiarism to the Torah, and yeah, it is.
1 second, Sword of Life. Brother Elijah, well, hold on, Empress. Let me just welcome Elijah. Welcome to the platform, Brother Elijah. I think you've seen the conversation, and here, so you can just go ahead and welcome yourself as well. Introduce yourself.
Come on, bless up, blessing sis, bless up, Gold Bar, bless up.
Respect, Elijah, respect.
Yeah, man, Gold Bar a Torah only, me always have them say, yo, if I 5 books alone you study, you're not supposed to have nobody to back you up in a corner like this, but now watch.
No one. It's just that I understand that what I'm speaking to everyone is quite foreign. No one have ever heard of this before because no one actually
and
into the Torah properly.
May I try to get Gold Bar out of this concept. There's a few other people that does this, where them present the scriptures as in they're the only one that can see it from this light, May I pay attention? Go on, Gold Bar.
No, listen. All right, I'm saying this is what I'm trying to say to you. I'm not saying that I'm the only one can see it. What I'm saying to everyone is that they need to look more keenly, more diligently to the Torah and see who's talking to them, the nature of the person that is talking to them. They would understand.
Hold on. Before you go on your speech, answer my question, then, bro. I want to ask you some good questions.
No, I'm answering, but he does not want the answers I'm providing. He wants an answer that he thinks that he could get me into a corner, but he can't.
But he never asked you.
All
You
right,
never
You
asked me the
actually
same
proved
question twice,
to that
though. It
you
if
are
wasn't
I
going
the
to be
first
if I
quiet.
ask a
question.
question, I would answer answer. Let me ask some question now, and then give me an answer. Don't give me a mix up answer to defend what you're saying. Just answer me straightforward. The Almighty stated in the Torah, said, my name is what I am. That means I can't give the Almighty a name. The Almighty name is something that we can see as what He is. So we can observe now carefully. According to the Torah, we're going to read, because when you read the Torah, now, you're going to understand His mannerisms, His behavior, the things He lust for are the things He love, the things He like. And He also said, the laws are also within your flesh. He said that. Another clue, He also said, I possess the heaven and earth. And He gave another clue, He said, I'm in everything. Now I want you to explain to me, God in everything, or is it life in everything? Explain it to me. Explain to me what is in everything. Uncover the name God to me and tell me what you see.
But the thing is, you have yet to answer his question.
No, no, but then if you guys were to answer my question, then you would see that it's life actually in everything. It's life rules over everything. It's life is an innovator to create everything. Look at the things we create. We are lifelings, you know. We call ourselves gods, but we are more lifelings than gods.
Excuse me, brother. Let me deal with what you just said, right? So, you said life is in everything, right? Now, let me ask you something. And you mentioned the word create because I'm holding you accountable to what you're saying. You remember that, right? I'm holding you accountable to what comes out of your mouth. You said we create things, right? Now, what is your understanding of creation? Of create, the word create, bara. What is your understanding of bara? Because I'm going to explain from the Hebrew culture, and then you can explain from whatever culture you follow. Bara means to create from nothing. Because if you have to take raw material to make something, that's make. Create and make are two different things. So create is out of nothing, meaning you create from the elements. So if you cannot take earth, air, water, fire, and the spirit and put together and create something new, that's not create. You're making something. If you take a piece of board and a nail and zinc and you make a house, you do not create a house. So I hope you're seeing the distinction between create and make. So when it says in the beginning he created heaven, he bara out of nothing. He did not take raw materials from here and here. I hope you understand my concept. So that's for the word create. Now you mentioned about God. Now God is a title, but you mentioned also about the name, which is, I think you referred to Yahweh in Exodus 3 verse 14. I am that I am, right? Now that is a way to say you cannot limit me to anything, because once you put something after the I am, you're placing a limitation on God. He is just what He is. He is existence. He is the source of existence. So in existence, there is everything. So for example, your spirit, your consciousness, right? That would be the spirit inside of you. That would be what you are. You are not your mind or your body, but your mind and your body exist inside of your spirit. It's not the other way around. For example, this table, this chair, right? This chair, does it take up the space or does the space take up the chair? Think about the question. Does the chair take up the space or does the space take up the chair? Now I would like you to answer that question. Think carefully and answer that question. So we can.
If the chair take up the space,
Does the object take up the place or does space, or does the space take up the object? Which one occupies which one?
the object, you know, the object is within this space.
This is what you call. I'm breaking up. Can you hear me? Yeah. So right. So the Most High is that spirit, that source of existence, and in Him is everything created. So He is the source. He is eternity. That's beyond time. That's beyond perception. We live in a what you call third dimension. This is why we perceive reality. We do not get to see the direct reality itself. We don't get to see God itself. We see perceptions, flashes. We perceive reality.
I'm gonna ask you something, brother. I'm gonna ask you something. Is God,
okay, let me turn off the microphone.
God life?
No.
What is life, brother?
Yeah, but go bar. Look, no.
What is life?
Look,
Are you guys meditating and thinking what I'm saying to you? I'm saying we're in the realm of life. We're in a place that if you drop a seed, it grows. There's life everywhere. Life is what is omnipresent.
Okay, Sword of Life. Let me bring
Do
to your
you agree
awareness.
that life is what is omnipresent?
Hold on. Let me just bring to your awareness what you're doing so you can be aware, because it doesn't seem that you're aware. You have your concept of life, and once we answer something that's contrary to what you believe, hold on, don't speak. Once we answer something that's contrary to what you believe, you find it as a mockery. You don't look into it to see what somebody else is saying because you're
I
fixed.
would
Hold
not
on.
revile.
Don't, brother, you're
I would not
speaking.
revile the name of the
Brother,
Almighty.
you're speaking when I'm speaking. You notice I turn my microphone off when you're speaking? Or you haven't noticed that? So it shows me that you're not listening because you already tell yourself what you hold on to. You're not allowing a room to listen. I'm saying the life and the source of life are two different things, because life has a polarity called death, just like day has a polarity called night. One thing, marriage has a polarity called adultery. These two things are not the Most High himself. He is beyond polarity. So this is what you're not understanding. The source of life and life are two different things. I don't know if you can, you don't have to agree with what I'm saying, but I'm asking you if you can understand it. You don't have to agree, but can you understand it? I'm going to turn off the microphone and you can go ahead and speak.
Yeah, I want to, guys. You're a decent host. Let me say this to you, and I really mean this honestly from my heart. You're not like the rest of them, and I hope you will follow through with this. And I apologize for interrupting at times. Sometimes, it's the way we had to cut out this Jamaican behavior as well. We talk about each other so many times, and it's very dysfunctional. I hate it too as well. But hear me say this, brother. All right, brother. I would love for you to look into what I'm saying. The name of the earth is natural. And when name is mentioned, you know what it is, the purpose of it, the mannerisms of the earth. When the name of the sun is mentioned, it's what it is. So we know the function of the sun. We know what it's there for. When the name of the wind is said, we know what the function of it. We know the meaning of it, right? So when you call the Almighty by a different name, right? People don't actually know the mannerisms of what God is and the power of what it is. So people tend to create religions and create other gods with it. No, you see, one time you call him by his real name, then you will understand like the nature of him. You start to understand why the laws are there. You understand that life, love the Sabbath day because life needs rest. You would understand even the Passover, the first month of the year. Life is going to align you with the season of the realm of life. So you're going to say April is the first month of the year, which is spring, where we see the new leaves come about. So he's going to align you with the thing. I mean, life would make a law said, thou shalt not kill. Life would make a law said, be clean, be holy, because I am holy, because if you're not holy, you're going to get sick. So if you were to think like life, you'd come to the same laws that he makes, basically. I am saying to you, right? Because life is a fire, Look. Life is the fire element. I'm trying to show you that I'm not giving him a title. I am calling him based upon the observation of his work. I didn't create the name life, right? And we all know that we cannot exist without life. Life is the most important thing to man, right? Life is what is jealous. It's the nature of life is a jealous thing. If it doesn't treat you with love, it walks away. It leaves. It gets angry. Life is the name that everything has to bow down to. If you speak against life, that's blasphemy. You could see that's blasphemy. Life is something that you have to love and treasure and require you to love it with all your might and with all your soul. When I speak of life, there's no polar thing to have. I said life.
So go back.
I don't think you understand what I say. When we say life to the people, you don't want them to walk away, because that walking away from us. Listen to me. Let me ask him. I'm gonna ask one question here and land. And
You're not gonna ask no
respect to the name
question,
God.
bro. You're
I'm
gonna go on
gonna let
another
you talk.
speech. Me can ask you a question, bro.
No, yeah, I'm gonna ask one more question, more land. I promise. Either life walk away or God walk away. Which one would that be more devastating to man? When I said life, just think about life pulling itself from the earth and walk away. What would be more devastating? Either God or man or our life. Which one would be
Listen,
more
life,
devastating?
life, life without God no make no sense, bro.
Right. You ask me because more than think about what me say a while ago.
I'm,
Now. Either
I'm
God
answering
walking
your
away,
question. Me
either
answer
God
your
walking
question.
away or
Me
life
answer
walking away.
your
Which one would be more
question, bro.
devastating?
God,
Explain to me what would happen if God walk away.
because you can lose your life and still be fulfilled in God. But if you lose God, life no matter.
Them man, I really, here one. Sometimes you need to meditate. Here,
Can I
meditate
answer your
sometimes.
question, Sword of Life?
Slow down. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. No, you mentioned if God walks away because sometimes we try to use logic to equal up with spirituality, and that's a big problem. The thing that you call God, or you call it life, which we call the source, right? The source of existence. He doesn't have the power to make himself not existence because he himself is existence. So there's no such thing as if God should, he does not have the power to do that. He cannot, I'm using the word cannot. God cannot make himself not exist because he himself is existence. This is what it means. I am that I am. I exist. So he is not in his potent to make himself not exist. So that in your question that seems logical to you would be a foolish question from our cosmic knowledge. If you, I hope you understand what I just explained. So that
So
question,
today, people say God don't exist. Then today we have people currently on this platform saying that God don't exist, but them can't say life not exist. So when are we right and when are we wrong? I wonder. Oh, we're gonna great
hold
majority
on.
of people today
No,
can't explain the existence of their. Me can explain the existence of a life.
Sword of Life. Listen, because I'm pointing out what you're doing. I don't know if you hold on. Let me just welcome somebody. Let me accept this first. I'm gonna bring up H Prophet. Hold on. Let me just welcome this person. Just give me a second, Sword of Life. H Prophet, if you can hear, welcome to the platform. We're having a respectful conversation, and it is about one person speak, you unmute, and then you speak, right? Now, Sword of Life, what I'm saying is, right, you are using one word, but a certain reality is not attached, and this is why it's causing the confusion. So when a person say the word God, for me, for example, the rivers is an attribute of God. The earth is an attribute. The seas is an attribute. All of these things are what? They exist, right? So these are different attributes, but they are not the source itself because, like I mentioned about the water in the rivers, right? But the source of the life is inside the water. So when he removes from that, what happens to the water? The water is still there, but it has no power in it. He can withdraw his potency from the water, if you understand what I'm saying. So this is why I keep saying the source is different from the physical manifestation. Is one God but many manifestations, so it depends on how that person defines the word God. And this is why I said earlier that when a person uses the word God, because most of them is really referring to their ego, so when a person uses the word God, they need to point to something tangible that I can understand that they're referring to. Like I'm saying to you that when I talk about God, we're talking about the powers, because that's what the word means. Allah is the Hebrew word for power, but it's pluralized. So we say Allahayam. The Muslims would say Allah, singular, right? So we say Allahayam. The powers create the heavens and the earth. The powers and the created are two different things. It cannot be the same thing. The thing that creates that has to be different from what it created.
I'm
So
not
it is
saying that. Hold on. I am not saying that the thing that he creates has its individual mind, but it's still life that possess them. Like you guys say God is in everything, and I'm saying to you who we're referring to as God, true name is life. But you people are not truly genuinely looking to the name life. They're thinking that the name life has no power. They think that it's lack power, and they think that it's open to some
cut
sort
you.
of harm.
Let me just cut you for a
When I
second.
said life, and I even describe what he is. I said life is a consuming fire that consistently like it consistently breeds life from it. Like I said to you, like instead of amber coming out that fire, you'd find your birds, the animals, you find these things come off in ambers, like the shape of of their souls come off that flame. Life comes from the Almighty. He's a source. He's an eternal life thing that
Okay.
consistently life.
All right. So you said life comes from the Almighty. So if it comes from Him, it means it is not Him. Let me ask you something, right? Where does the sea come from? Huh?
It comes from the Almighty.
So hold on. The sea comes from the Almighty. So is the sea the Almighty? Did the sea create itself?
No, everything comes from the Almighty.
No, hold on. So the sea comes from the Almighty. So the sea comes from life. The sea is still different from life. So what you call life, then it's the same thing that I'm saying, that it would be the source.
And I call it the realm of life.
So the brother,
The source, that source is life.
brother, that's what we've been asking you from the beginning. So whether you use the word realm or you use the word source, that's all I was asking you from the beginning, to make sure that we were on one accord. We could have passed here a long time. So you see what I'm saying? This is what the English language does. I kept putting a tangibility so that you can look at, so that you can understand that we're talking about the same thing. It's just the choice of words that you're using. But because I'm not using the same, but I'm explaining to you that source of life and life are two different things. For example, what is the difference between you and Michael Jackson? Michael Jackson is dead. You are alive. So this is life. You are here now. Michael Jackson is in the earth. That's death. Two different things, but neither the life or the death, neither the life, you, or the death, Michael Jackson, is not God himself, is not Almighty himself. So life and death, as you say, life comes from God, but it is not God himself. So there's a difference between the source and the manifested. Huh?
Ask something. Let's say.
No, hold on. You see, you don't even say anything about, you don't acknowledge anything I just said. I don't know if you're answering.
I did, but I wanted to go to a different way so probably you should understand. Let's say you and your wife.
Yeah, Gold Bar.
Go
It don't seem like you're
ahead.
listening. Gold Bar. It don't seem like you're listening, bro. You just.
I am
skip from-
listening. No, sir. I'm not being disrespectful to the guy, to my brethren. Hear me say. Let's say him and his wife upon a secluded island, right? Secluded island or one empty space by themselves, right? Who is the life there? Who's the life between both of you? Who's the generator of the life?
My life is my life and her life is her life.
No, you're not seeing. You are the producer of the life. So you are also the source of the life. Yeah, because you are one of the manufacturer that produces the life, the sperms. Right? So you your wife could be considered as the earth, right? Or the water. And you plant these seeds. And then you provide sufficient means
I thought we
provide for these life that you create. So you are still the source.
You're
that
still okay.
feeds and tends to
So,
everything.
Sword of life, you're convincing me that you haven't been listening. We already passed this analogy where I said to you, you keep using the word create. I just explained to you that create has to be something that comes out of nothing. So if the Most I put it in you already to replenish after your kind, that is in you already. So guess what? You are not creating, you are reproducing. Did the Most High reproduce the heaven, or did he create the heaven?
He created it.
So this is what I'm saying. Your English language is messing with you. You're confirming the same demoralization I talked about. So careful of the words. Hold on. Don't be so quick to speak. What I'm trying to tell you is that the words that you're using is affecting the point that you're trying to make. So when you said the man creates life, no, that's not create, because create has to be out of nothing. You reproduce after your kind. Reproduce and create cannot be the same thing. Do you understand my point that reproduce and create cannot be the same thing? Don't try to go to something else. I want to know if you understand, not if you agree. You can unmute and tell me whether you understand my point between reproduce and create. Unmute and speak.
I think reproduce is different from being created. I mean, I think that's different because
You want to take a moment and internalize.
no,
Sorry, you.
reproduce is different from create.
So the man reproduced after his kind according to Genesis, right? And we can see in the physical reality that you reproduce after your kind, but you don't create after your kind. So the Most I did not create. Huh?
So that means what I'm trying to say to you, right? About about we have our seed within ourselves because we keep reproducing ourselves. So we're eternal. And I keep saying that that's how the Almighty is. He consistently keep himself, not in giving himself to make something different, but his energy consistently producing.
No, it does not. Look. I'm gonna go. Hold on. Let me just make this point because Sword of Life, you don't see what your belief system is doing to you. You just mentioned that the Most High does this, right? If he was creating like that, guess what? He would still be creating more seas, more suns, more earths, more everything.
You don't understand what I mean. What I mean by that? Okay, you misunderstand. I just understand what you're saying, and I'm trying to show you something. There's no one like him to make an example of. So what I'm trying to say to you, he's not changing his flesh, or his similitude or his image. How his organs them work. Like for instance, you know how love work? Because he's love. Love is a process that maintains, sustain, and keep life. It is a mannerism that keeps things perpetually, keeps life perpetually. Because we call the Almighty love, right? So if you study life, the pure action of love is between male and female that creates itself, that consistently keeps itself. So love is a perpetual cycle, a eternal cycle to keep life. So I'm saying to you that the Almighty, the way he is, he consistently, he keeps energy every single minute. The way his organs are, the way he thinks, his whole image works. It produces life every second. So man is the longer man lives, man decays or pine away. But the Almighty, he doesn't pine away. He consistently grows energy, like he expands. He grows with power. His power grows every minute. That's the image of the Almighty. That's what I'm trying to say to you. He grows with power every time. He consistently produces life.
Hold on. So you say you're a God that grew up?
No. Like you know what? You have a source that everything that comes from its life comes from it. A source, right? Just breeds life. Like its image, its flame, just consistently produce life.
Hold on, bro. I keep telling you, say adding words doesn't make you win a conversation, right? You just try adding a lot of words to try to convince. But if you listen to yourself, you're contradicting yourself too, right? The source of life can be the source cannot be the product or the byproduct, right? Life comes from God. Life comes from the source. So if life is the source of life, that's contradicting itself because life can end. Everything that has life dies except for God. So right there you say that God is limited to just life. I don't think you're getting that part.
All right, give me a second, Elijah. Let me welcome Timeline. Timeline, welcome to the platform. You can go ahead and set your piece. Mute. Go ahead, Timeline, if you'd like to add something to the conversation. Or you're just here for listening. Okay.
Big up.
Okay, hold on. Let me turn off the microphone. Go ahead and speak.
I've been listening. I just wanted to kind of get. Yeah, man. I just want to know what you guys are, talking about. So before I make my point, does that make sense?
Talking about
Gold Bar, try to convince the name of God is something different. Gold Bar.
once you're taking away,
I see.
manifest.
I see. Okay.
Once you're taking away the.
Go ahead, host. Sorry.
All right, once you're taking away the realities, this is what I'm saying. Once you take away the reality, the physical manifestation of God, the word God itself has no meaning. This is why some people can debate whether God exists or God does not exist. Does not the sea exist? Does not the earth exist? Does not the moon, the star, the sun exist? Do not trees exist? So, what is the concept of God to say God does not exist? This is why sometimes you hear these people talk about the universe. Let me ask you something. Is it a universe or is it a multiverse? Is it one dimension? So how do we get this concept of universe? You see, we believe in modern science, and we're trying to get to God through modern science, through theoretical science. Actual science is nature, and nature is the manifestation of God. So you look to these to the earth, the waters, the sun, the moon. You look to all these things to kind of get what, an understanding of Him. You cannot get the full understanding, but you get to understand Him
All
through
right,
the
okay.
physical hold on, through the physical manifestation. So it's the same way you have a spirit, you have a body, and there's a soul, right? In order for you to understand what you don't know, you have to go through what you know. So in order for you to find the spirit, you have to first understand the body and the mind, and understand that there's something there that your mind does not know. So the same thing, your mind cannot know God, just like your mind cannot know the spirit. It's the same thing. So we have to understand that. So you cannot go to God through perceptions. So these are different manifestations. This is why when you look at your thoughts, your behaviors, and so forth, guess what? That's something different from what you are. So that's how you find the truth of you. The truth of you is the spirit, not the body, not the mind. You are different from your mind. Have you ever said to yourself that I was gonna eat chicken, but I ate fish instead? So who is it that decided to eat chicken, and who changed that instead? So the mind is different from what you are. You are different from your thoughts. You are different from your thinking. But you have to know the unknown through the known. So if we never had the earth, the trees, man, the fish, water, and we would not have a concept of God. So the mind is limited to what? Time and space. We can only deal with the different manifestations of God. You mentioned earlier about God is love. What you're doing is you're putting God into one essence. Love is just one essence of God. It's not the complete God, because love is the same thing as mercy. What is on the polar opposite of mercy? Vengeance. So there's the wrath of God, and then there's the mercy of God. They are polar opposite. So this is what I'm saying. To say God is love, brother, that's one essence of God, of the I am that I am. So what you're doing is you're taking the different attributes of the power and make it into one thing. It's different essences, brother, just like your mind is different from your body, is it not? But they're still coming out of you. The body
All right,
is there.
me go
Why you
ask you a
just
question, brother.
why you just call me?
Brother.
Oh, I'm thinking you said Andrew. Okay, all right. Sorry about that.
Yeah, brother.
Respect for the support, guys. Yeah,
Yeah, brother.
go ahead.
Brother, me go say one thing, brother. See? Hear this here. When you go in our workshop where a carpenter there, right? You'll find the tools of a carpenter in our area, right? You'll find the tools them when produce and the things them when produce in our area. You understand me? This is what. And in a field mind, you might think of a build dresser, bed, couch. This as a field mind a function. These are the things, are the ambers. If you have a flame, these are the ambers that come out of a flame. If you go in a doctor office, you go find doctor tools. You go find the things them like the beds, whatever they tend to impatience. No, I said we're in the realm of life. So we're in the realm of the Almighty, and you go find the tools of life if you keep and consistently keep life. So I'm trying to show you if you want to break it down, I said the person who call God Almighty, well, him work like a life. Him work like a source of life. Like everything he make, him consistently make a thing that give life all the time. It work like have you ever opened a peanut or a peas? When you strip it open, you see two sides, the male and female, Everything he make it according to himself. He consistently produce itself to regenerate itself. So what I'm trying to show you say the mannerisms of who we call God, right? Who said, I am what I am. My name is what I is. When you study him for yourself, right? You go say, oh, that's life. There's no more to call him God, because you start to see You don't call him by his work, because we call
Yo,
a man according to his
Goldbar.
work. Today,
Yo,
hold on. Even hold on, here I go on. Maybe me go humble myself and say, here I go on. Me go call him, me call him by a nickname then, for make him feel better then. So I call him according to how he work, how he look, how he move, how he behave, according to his mannerisms. No, I am saying to you, if you were to study him, you're going to come to the same conclusion, according to how he make law, according to his love food, life love food, you know. Life love smell food too. You see me say, according to orders in love keep charge, you have to keep a distance too. Life now gonna make a roll upon him, so. Life love cleanliness. You see me say? So when you study the mannerisms of the Almighty, right, and how him see, you are going to come to the same conclusions. You go understanding laws them. Like you said a while ago, you say love of a polar opposite, right? Listen to me, brother. If love is as a self-defense mechanism, it also has the knowledge of evil with it, because it is there to protect life. So love, I supposed to be your sense, you know. You're supposed to activate your sense. So love go determine what's a threat, and what is a threat. Love go send message to your mind, say that's a threat. Start to think the process of evil towards it, and you start coming up with solutions. You start telling you, say, this is how you're supposed to react. Like for instance, if somebody were to put their hands on you, right? The love in yourself goes to activate your mind and send it to the natural, the knowledge of evil, which is on the left side of your brain. It goes send message to it and say, start activate how you're supposed to respond for this. And good can I say, all right, if you respond like this, look at the reaction of what come. As love work. You see what I say? So you need to understand that, because love is a self-mechanism thing. It's a self-mechanism thing. And all of the life in your mood act on love. Because love are what may eat. Love are what may run for their life. So the animal, you know, the deers, them, you know, they love, you know. So life is love. Because love go hide itself from danger. You have to know, love is merciful. Love is long-suffering. Because love of waiting children come to coherent state of mind before, you know, him can prosecute them. Hold on. So love is long-suffering.
Just a preach, bro.
I just want to still not sleep, brother. I'm not going to say no stiff like it's the same way, but I'll say no still
No,
sleep.
me just ask you a question. Is that you just add one perspective to feel like you adding words now make me convinced, bro.
I think he's not aware
love
that
your cat?
he's proving the very point that we were discussing earlier. I mean, it's always uncanny when I see it play out this way, but it's
I
interesting.
don't know someone the spirit don't know why I talk about the spirit. Sorry, Empress. You said that you were talking
You pulled
about
him
the
on
spirit
point,
and
guy.
made it and summoned it. Empress.
Yes.
No, I'm asking. You said that you were talking about the spirit and it manifested itself.
Oh yeah. Tends to happen in these conversations sometimes, you know. Cosmic will say a few things and then someone would inevitably embody the very same things that we're talking about. But it's a good learning, you know, mechanism, I believe. It really allows us to see things for what they really are.
All right, so I got two questions for Goldbar. Two questions, but I like
Hold on, Elijah. Just hold on. Let me ask. Timeline. Do you have something you would like to say? Ask, or are there any concerns? Or are you just there for listening? Then Elijah can go to his question. Do you want to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to touch on what. So I heard a little bit of what you were saying, and I heard a little what Goldbar was saying, and even in him talking about his concept, he then starts to explain and justify why yours is correct, if that makes sense. Meaning that you can't use the thing to then explain the thing, because let's put it like this: if you have like 4 boxes, and let's say you place an animal in one, whatever they have, the tools that they have, and whatever reality they have is from that one box. They don't know that there are 4 other boxes, if that makes sense, you know? So let's put it like this: all four of those still could be one box. You see what I'm saying to you? With different category and different uh, elements and different things that make up a fullness of everything. But Goldbar is just saying God is love because he could just see from one box. He's not even going in the other boxes. You see what I'm saying to you? And that's what I just want to touch on.
Yeah,
It's just a
definitely,
concept
because
of oneness.
the whole time he was explaining, he was saying the same thing I was saying earlier, because even what he said about love, said God is love, and I said to you, love is one potent of God, and then vengeance or wrath is a polar opposite, right? So he mentioned about love are in danger you run. Danger would be the wrath of God. So the wrath of God and the love of God cannot be the same thing. These have to be two polar essences, two polar things.
Correct.
You see what I'm
Different
saying? So
boxes.
he Right, the different box. So he was confirming the whole time he was speaking, he was just confirming everything that we already said before. This conversation could have passed here a long time ago, right? But Elijah has some
But leave him
Elijah
alone, man. You want to
Elijah has
touch on
something.
the very essence of love, though. I see his concept of love and why God is love. You know?
Right. He mentioned another thing. He was using the analogy of the doctor and the carpenter. Now, this is the thing, right? With the same carpenter, you go and you see a carpenter, you address him as carpenter. When that carpenter goes home, what does his child address him as? Address him as daddy. You see what I'm saying?
Correct.
Now, what does his wife address him as? The wife address him as husband. You see what I'm saying? What does his brother address him as? So the one man has all of these different attributes, and based on how you experience that attributes, you call him by that experience. So your son experiences you as a father, he says daddy. Your friend experiences you as a friend, he says brethren. You see what I'm saying? Your mother experiences you as a son. So it's the one thing, but many manifestation of the same thing. So
Correct.
it's all going to go back to the very same point we started, and it goes back to the cosmic knowledge, and anything outside of that, it's going to be perceptions and ideologies and thoughts. Elijah, you have something to say, you can go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. I have some quick questions for Gobar. Gobar. Gobar, you still there?
Listen.
Yeah, you have a car. You love your car.
No, me ain't love with no car. Me have
Me
many
never say
cars.
if you're in love with your car. I didn't ask if you're in love with your car. You treat your car with care. You love your car.
But buy and sell car, I don't really love car. No.
But you have a car.
Yeah, me have, yeah.
Well, you know what if you don't love your car. I know just
No,
dash it with her.
me not love, me not put my eyes on materialistic things. Me not
Yeah,
in
man.
love.
Stop making it difficult, man.
I'm not making it difficult, I'm being honest.
You
I'm
love
being
the car,
honest.
man.
Run from
No,
Yeah, go.
me be honest,
You
me
love
love
the
the
car,
car.
man.
Yo, you just now want to go night, my youth.
No.
The man trying to walk
Me
outside the
I
water,
get
man.
answer. Me get
The
answer.
man don't want to take a swim, bro. The man don't want to swim with you, dog. It's okay. It's okay, go, man.
No.
Gobar.
Me not in love with no car, man. Big man thing. Me not attached with
No,
it.
I never asked you in love. Right, so what the difference with
I'm
love
sure that
and
me
being
buy and
in
sell a
love?
car.
Is there a
If
difference?
it has somebody
Hold on.
offer, sell it up.
Is there a difference between being in love with something and loving something? Me did that hope say that just say yes or no, and bro, we just move on. But yeah, go on. So yeah, me have to go
All right.
bring it into.
So earlier on, I
All right. You
understand.
have a house. You have a house, or you have an apartment. You love your house. The roof
Only
for your
listen to me.
family.
The only thing me love, not tell you what me love. Me love life. Life me
I
love.
love life. I know he was going to say life,
No.
bro. I know he
May I
was
be
going to
honest with
say
you?
Yeah,
life.
No,
go
hold
straight.
on.
All right.
Once you allow,
All right.
once you allow to love things externally, it can afflict you, and you're open to mental sickness.
Hold
So
on.
me
So you
love
love your wife?
life.
You love your wife?
Yes, me share love to my wife. Me share love to my woman.
So your wife external.
Becoming comical.
No. It's not
Yeah, so
comical.
yeah, use some word. Yeah, use
There
some
is a
words, bro.
certain way you have to love. You have to discipline yourself because you will hurt yourself. You hear people get hurt, then wife hurt them, left them, and then
All
commit
right, all
suicide.
right, all right, all right.
You have
Now
to share
another
love to
question.
these people.
Yo,
Is there
yo,
is there you
who
say
hurt
hold
you,
on
go,
no
bro?
I
Who
want to
hurt
no, I
hold
you?
want
on
to
no
share this topic.
hold
Go
on.
ahead.
You make a really good point a while ago, Gumar. You say vanity not have no life in it, right?
Yeah, me not love them things now.
So say as a God man in your car.
No, man, we are going to
Okay.
conversation.
Hold on. We're going somewhere. We're going even worse, right? So rocks. A God create rocks, don't it? Life in a rocks.
He creates rock. It doesn't mean that it's a part of our creation.
I'm asking you, is there
I'm gonna
life
ask.
in
Hold on, hold on, hold
rocks?
on, hold
Yes
on.
or no, brother
Hold on. Me go
Anthony?
get one. Because many people come with this same question. Yeah. I'm gonna get one different. When you cut off the toenail,
Yo, you're gonna give me
hold
a
on, man. When you
feature
cut off the
answer,
toenail
bro. Just
off,
yes or
you have
no. Is
life,
there
brother.
life
Hold
in
on, hold
rocks?
on, hold on, hold on.
Yeah.
When you cut off the toenail, the fingernail clip, fingernail does it still have life?
Hold on, I just mute both of you guys just for a second. Sword of life. Remember, we're not doing a debate to fight or whatever, right? We're having a conscious reasoning. So you don't need to do the deflecting thing. He just asked you a question. So before you go to your other analogy, you answer his question because we're trying to keep this respectfully. So just answer the question without deflecting. Then you can go and make your analogy if you understand what I'm saying. We're just trying to keep it in a more reasoning manner. We are grown men. We're not trying to defend beliefs. So you can answer the question and then you go with your analogy. Not another question to answer if you understand what I'm saying. It's just simply respectfully. That's how the platform is run. You know, this is why we don't speak over each other. But I had to mute you a while ago to let you understand that you are doing it again. You keep doing it, but probably you're not aware of it. It becomes so normal to you. You're not realizing that you keep deflecting. So you can answer his question, or if you want him to repeat it, and then you can go to your analogy after your answer. But don't bypass the question to go to your analogy. That's what I'm saying. So I'm gonna I'm gonna mute myself, and you can go ahead with with the answer to his question. Go ahead.
Yeah, go bar. Is there life in rocks? Yes or no?
I don't know how to answer that question. I don't want to say no, and I don't want to say yes because it's a part of the earth, and earth has life in it.
Okay. Can rocks reproduce themselves? You said life
No,
reproduce itself.
but things can be produces. Things can come from rocks. If you crush them out, they could become earth, and you could make life with it. So I don't want to say
Okay.
there's many different things.
But all right, so that's what you see how you don't want to limit God to um you don't want to limit rocks to being lifeless, but yet you want to limit God to being just life. We're trying to explain to you that there's more to God than just life. Life is the main component. We agree with you. But as far as the source is highly respected above life. Life is vanity when it comes to the source. That makes sense? Remember when oh you don't believe in the New Testament. Um Alright. I'll
I want to ask everyone a question, and I just as though everyone said I'm deflecting. We grew up on the premises also in the Bible that God is in everything, and I've said it earlier on. I asked a question, nobody answered me. They said God is in everything. God is in the bird. We even have a song about it, and it's also said that God possesses heaven and earth. And I'm asking everyone, please show me. Let me understand. Show me God in everything. Because you keep saying I'm deflecting. Please. Oh, go ahead. Please.
Okay. Now you asked if God is in everything, and I'm saying that He takes a seed out of Himself to create the trees, a seed out of Himself to create the earth, a seed out of Himself. So He is in everything. Now, you don't deal with the New Testament, but I'm going to answer on behalf of our standpoint who follow the New Testament. Now, this is the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, and verse 8. It says, "Wherefore, he saith, when he ascended up on high, he led captivity captive and gave gifts unto men. Now that he ascended, what is it but that he also descended first into the lower parts of the earth? He that descended is the same also that ascended up far above all heaven." So this is what you call the Christ or the Son of God, the first emanated light out of that light. So that light or that Christ or that Son of God, right? That went far above all heaven. So to do what? To go back with who? The source. So this is why I said earlier when it says in the beginning he created heaven and earth. Where was he when he was creating? Did he create the heavens and then step inside? Or was he dwelling in eternity? So this is why we keep saying the creator and the created have to be two different things. So you asked your question. I hope this answers, even though you don't follow the New Testament, I'm just giving you an answer that there it goes far above the heavens of heavens. So where the Most High is different from where the sun, the moon, and the stars is. So beyond the sun, beneath the sun, is the run by what? Time and space. The Most High is not in time and space. He is beyond. This is why it's called the eternal now, because now is not a place in time. Time is in now, because time is a concept of the human mind. Remove your thoughts and tell me what time is. You cannot explain the word time if you take away your thoughts. If you understand what I just said. So God is beyond time. Let me give you an example. When it says, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. There is no concept of time. There's no events. There's no object, right? This is just the narrator speaking. Now verse 3 says, and God said. So this is going to be the first event. And God said. So that's 0, 0, 0, right? It says, let there be light. And the second thought is, and there was light. So when God said, let there be light, it's still 0 time. And the second thought is, there was light. So between let there be light and there was light, the duration between these two events are these two thoughts. That is what is called time. Time is a concept of the human mind. If you remove thought, you can never tell me anything about time. So we exist in the eternity. We don't exist in time. Time is a concept of your mind. I hope you understand what I'm saying. These are two different dimensions. The creator and the created cannot be the same. If you understand what I'm not asking you to agree, but I hope you understand my explanation.
I understood what you said. Listen. Whenever
Okay. Go ahead.
the point of this conversation is to come to the truth, so we can have a consensus. We are not going to agree on someone else's opinion. If you say something that is current with the words of the Almighty and within the laws of the Almighty, I will agree to it. What I'm trying to say to you, a while ago, you have just said that the Almighty had planted a seed of himself in everything. And we also have it within the Bible as well, that the Almighty possessed things. He possessed the things then. But what I'm trying to show you, right, because in the beginning, right, basically, everything was a void. There were no life in them. That's what you just read. You've just read that. In the beginning, there was a void. Look through it. And everything was without form. So it had to have the Almighty put them together for them to act and move, because he's alive among them. Like a car cannot move or create without a man. If a man don't put work into it, it won't move. If flame doesn't go in at the car, move, So me I try to show you, say, a life possess everything. He has to put himself in everything for everything to move. Because he's the only thing that moves in here. In the
Yo,
void.
go bar. What you had to do? Yeah.
You get me at here. He's
Bro,
the
agree.
flame. Hold on. He's the flame. Okay. Let me break it down. Tell me
Bro,
what did you say? Hold on. How important is fire? Hold on.
Can I say something?
No, one more thing. Elijah. Hold on, Elijah. Let's break it down. Me now go in a theme in depth analogy. What can we do? How important is fire in our earth today? How important is fire?
Bro, y'all go all over, please. You remember?
No. Let's break it down. How important is fire?
Fire is in everything. It's important. Fire is in everything. The fire of God is in everything.
Can we agree that the Almighty is a consuming fire?
Right.
Okay. So right now, I tell us the Almighty, a life, who we are called God, we can explain to the people them say a life that, because a life, they show one mighty hand. If life will walk well, if everybody know what that could be. When I say God, people don't really respect the name God. The earth don't really, them blaspheme against it. But when you give them a real name, them start to see that if this person walk away, that significant force walk away, we will all perish, because we are like We are sucklings to the
Go bar.
Almighty, you know. We depend on Him to live. We
Go
can't
bar.
live
Yeah.
without Him. If Him
Go
walk away, we
bar.
all perish. That's life
Go
walking
bar.
away. So,
Go
Army Ron,
bar.
Elijah.
Bro, you just a go on, bro.
Yo, you can't
Just
finish, brother. Hold on.
no,
Hold
you
on. I want
finish.
to
You
mute
finish
my mic.
over.
When a
You keep
person
on
talk,
say you're gonna ask a question and you go for a preaching session, bro. Just calm down now. We understand so you're passionate. You just keep going. Yo.
Go bar. You know, stop the noise. The go bar.
Yo.
Come on. Shut, man. Leave my boy alone, man.
Children.
He's
Me know,
passionate,
man,
dog. He's
and
passionate.
listen,
You're passionate,
host,
dog.
Go Bar feel like me attacking me now. That's why me not say nothing bad about Go Bar either, because when me judge Go Bar, him feel a certain way, right? But it's not like that, bro. Like I first me I woke up on the host here, Go Bar. I don't know if me and you are friends, or I guess because me and you are friends, me scroll through and me find this live, right? But this is a new brother. I show you a different vibes from what you are portray, and you're not really trying to hearken to anything. You not really seem like the type of person who can learn from others.
no,
That's where I come off.
no. Hold on. If my brother have
Elijah,
something that
it's good that you're bridging and you. Hold on, sword. Hold on, I'm speaking. If Elijah I bridging like that and him don't know me because I was thinking that he was somebody that I know. Kaiser, I thought he was somebody from my WhatsApp group, but because the voice sounds similar, but he doesn't know me. I don't know who he is. So if he's your brethren and he can tell you that there are other people watching or listening, you don't think they're perceiving the same thing because you are so eager to bring out your point. Even if I'm saying something that you are saying and I say it in a different way, you cannot see it because you're only eager to bring out what you're saying, how you're saying it. And if it's not said that way, it is incorrect. So this is what I'm saying. You're not slowing down a little bit to say, okay, do you understand when I explain something to you? I'm not asking you to agree. I'm not bending you to my belief, neither.
Hey,
Yeah, go ahead,
go
Elijah.
bar. I second time hear somebody else say this name here. Alpha say
hold
this
on.
name. Like,
Yeah,
yo, you're not
hold on.
gonna acknowledge what I must say to make him know. Say, yo, you understand what I'm saying. Or nothing. You just go on to a different thing.
I do understand what he's saying, right? I do understand what he's saying, but he's not listening to what I'm saying. I'm saying the person.
We're all listening to you.
Hold on, brother. Hold on, make a talk. On still not listen. The Almighty said, "My name is what I am, what I is." Then, what I is. So I'm trying to say to you, if you observe, like how you would observe a lion or the things them around you, right? How they work and how they move, you're gonna find the person name according to its work. You're gonna call him according to his work. This is how you outline a while
Yo,
ago.
go bar. Hold on, you talk the
You
whole
just went at the
time.
person
Hold on,
attack.
you talk the whole time.
No,
You
I'm going to
talk the
talk.
whole time.
Hold
Hold
on.
on, you want the host to talk the whole time?
You want to talk? You want to talk? I'll give for
talk to the host. Yeah, want to talk to the host because the conversation I get circular now. All right, brother, bless up. Um, first, may I meet you. As I say, my family with Gold Bar and Timeline, and my brother them we talk for hours on the TikTok thing. Yeah. Blessings again, Empress. What's your school of thought? What's your Sister Ras? What's your perspective on the Creator?
Um, I've been observing and I've been listening, and I think I myself, much like the creator, cannot be put into a box. So it's about getting to the point of knowing yourself. That's my first belief. I believe that to know the creator, you have to first know yourself on an intimate level. And it's funny how many of us really do not know ourselves. And so we cannot identify the elements of God on the inside of us. So I'm on a journey of reacquainting myself with myself. Because as you go out there into the world and you get fed other knowledge and other information, much like what happened in the Garden of Eden, other new knowledge come to you and you believe it and you might have incorporated it, whether it was deliberately forced upon you or just circumstances. Either way, we end up losing our true identity. And so to come to a knowledge and an understanding of the Creator, you must first understand yourself. And so that is where I am. But let me sum it up this way. I just believe that we're here having this experience, that we need to use the reality of life in order to understand the Most High God, because there is no way that we can put God into a box and put a criteria to God. The minute we try to start doing that, that is when you can know you have lost the essence. Because Christ said it, Christ said, basically, because of how I appeared unto them, they could not see me for who I am. And it's the same thing. The minute God does not fit into the criteria that you've told yourself that this is how God is going to appear, then when God manifests God's self in whatever way, shape, or form God chooses, then you will not recognize God, because you only are identifying one quality, one concept of how God is. You understand me? So that is my understanding. And to your question about the rocks, it is a very tricky and funny one. I love it because it makes you stop and think, right? The Bible says even the rocks will cry out and worship the Lord. God no need man. You understand me? So the whole concept of reality is something that we have to really look back to the cultural aspect of, so that we can understand it.
Amen, sis.
Sister, more something. More to listen.
Hold on. She just answered Elijah's question. So let Elijah acknowledge what she just said. Then you can go ahead. Sword of life. Elijah, you can acknowledge what she just said, and then
Yeah,
yeah.
amen, sis. You sound well informed already. Humble humility. Humility is necessary, right? The only way we can show humility among our brethren is by learning. And the only way we can learn is if we actually pay attention and listen, right? So, host, what's your perspective on the Creator? Like, what's your viewpoint as far as the promised salvation? Christ came for us. My bad, my alarm just went off. Christ came for us, but God also tells us that he's not necessarily fond of everybody. So there must be some type of separation. Christ said he came to separate also. So what's your viewpoints on the separation part?
Put Sword of Life. Let me answer the question. You're kind of shuffling with the microphone. Oh, a timeline. Yeah. All right. You asked a bunch of questions. Now, with the Creator, the Father is not the Creator for me, right? The Son is the Creator. So let me just read a scripture. This is Isaiah 57 verse 15. It says, for thus saith the high and lofty one that inhabiteth eternity. Remember, we're saying earlier that he does not dwell in the heaven. He's beyond the heavens. He dwells in eternity, right? So he is a light, and that light, which is beyond darkness, he brought out one light. So that is the sun. So he only emanated one light, which is the sun, and from the sun, he was the one that created all the other things. So the Son is the creator. The Father is not the creator. The Father only emanated the Son. So there are spirits that are powers that came out of the Son. So the first light that came from the Father was knowledge. So knowledge is the highest of all the powers. And from knowledge, you have wisdom and understanding. These are going into what we're talking about, right? So now when you talk about what the Son died for, are things of that nature, our salvation, I always hear about the salvation doctrine, but that's kind of, I'm still curious about that, because salvation can only come when destruction comes. If there's no destruction, what is the thought of salvation? If there's no night, what is the thought of day? If there is no evil, what is the thought of good? So it goes back to the polarity. So for you to talk about salvation, there has to be destruction, and that destruction is the war that is yet to come. So to be saved, it has to be to deal with that. Now, when you talk about the purpose of the Christ, right? That is him dying for the sin of Adam, not dying for your sin or your child that is not yet born or your grandchild that is not yet born. Because if you come into the world, what kind of sin can you coming into the world? So the sin that he died for was the first Adam. So that is my take on that. So he died for that. So when when the next destruction comes, that's where salvation will come into play. But without destruction, salvation has no valid point. So this, whether they say water baptism is salvation or this, if there's no destruction, there is no thought of salvation, and that's it for me. I hope you understand. I'm not asking you to agree, but this is what I'm bringing to your question that you asked. So you can go ahead and tell me what you're saying. Then Sword of Life can go ahead and speak, because I think he wants to say something.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Interesting point. One more thing. What about the laws? What's your viewpoint on the laws?
What you say about the laws? I missed the last part of the question.
Yeah, I was saying, what is your viewpoint on the laws?
Oh, well, the laws, this is where I agree with Sword of Life, because he was saying some words, some fancy words on that point. Because the law is, because remember, there are laws that are inscribed in the universe, in the heavens. Sorry, there are laws that are inscribed in the heavens. That's the universal law that governs. Right? For example, he mentioned about the spring season. So when the sun come across the what they call the equator, the hemisphere, and then the first moon comes, right? That's a that's a law that's written, it's inscribed in the universe, that governs creatures in the earth. You understand? So there are laws for that. There are laws for men in general. There are laws that govern priests. It depends on the title that you wear. There are laws that govern kings. There are laws that govern women. There are laws that govern women in childbirth. The reality is governed by law, so you cannot separate them. So that is my concept of it. It governs. Everything is governed by a law. So the law cannot be done away with, because reality is not done away with. So in everything you can think of, your car, the car has a law. Do not put water in the gas tank. If you put water in the gas tank, this is going to be the judgment. Everything is inscribed in your spirit. It's inscribed in different aspect of reality. So that's what the law is. It cannot be separated. It cannot be void. The law is the word of God. It's the word of reality. It's the word that governs a certain will. So the word and the will is one and the same. You cannot separate the word and the will. In English, that can be separated. For example, in Hebrew, if I say day, you know that I'm referring to the period that the sun is moving from the eastern horizon to the western horizon. You see what I'm saying? In English, when you hear the word day, you're thinking about a whole 24-hour. That goes against the laws of reality, or the natures of reality. So this is why we think in the Hebrew thought process. When I speak, it defines exactly what I'm talking about. So I don't know if that's the context that you're asking about laws, or did I miss something, or you wanna?
Well explain. Well explain. Do you think, over?
Yeah, man, going to gym now. But here, man, say, I lost my right, that's a brother. Right? I heard you said something that was good at time. And you said that salvation is something that we should look forward to. And that's good, because mathematically, 2025 years ago, there were no savior. There weren't no savior at that time. The capabilities of man were very poor at that time. And not only that, there were only Shem, Ham, and Japheth at the earth at that time. There was no population at the earth at that time. That's something that everyone can receive for themselves. Now, back to what I'm trying to say to you. I am not a man that goes or will blaspheme the name of God, right? Or revile it in any way, right? I am just trying to say to you, just as how you have just pointed out that you're going to go call things in the Hebrew language according to its name, according to the function. All I'm saying to everyone is just call the Almighty according to his function. Because then you could open the eyes of people. Because the laws of the Almighty is there to maintain life itself. It's like, this is how you have a car, you build a car, and you have the Bible for the car, which you call a manual. The laws are the manual on how to take care of your life, how to maintain it, how to acquire longevity. Because life and evil, the more you do evil, is the quicker you grow to death, to become unalive. You grow sick when you do evil. And life cannot be sustained with unrighteous behaviors. So the laws that in the Bible shows you the laws of the life, which is righteousness to keep the life, because the life consume righteousness to live. You understand me? So the more you do unrighteous behavior, you shall surely, which is evil, because evil is ignorant act with life. It is a destructive things with life. So the more you do evil is the more you're going to get sick, the more you wither away or pine away. So when I point out the name life to you, it's to show you the mechanism and how to keep it alive. That's why I use that, because when I call myself God, I really see what I say. I don't really see what you are, because I see lifelines. That's what I see. I see things with life that needs a particular behavior to sustain and keep itself. So that's what I'm trying to say to you.
Sorry, just to retract a little bit back what you said a while ago. You confirming back the same point, because you were talking about life, but then you mentioned if a person goes against that, and then all this evil coming up against it, because righteousness is the natural laws of life, right? Once you go contrary to that, there is a polar opposite, and you're confirming back the same thing, that there exists polar opposites. So this is what I'm saying now. What you have to do, because I know you're gonna go back and meds the whole conversation when you go to your bed tonight. So it's natural for us as men to do, So you're gonna look back in the conversation and look back to what I'm saying with the choice of words, because in everything you say, you keep explaining polarity in your reasoning, and this is exactly what we started with. That the nature of consciousness carries two things. So this is why wisdom carries two nature. What is the two nature? Good and evil. So wisdom is that serpent in the garden, because the same moon that we use to keep the Sabbath, you know what I can use the same moon to do? I can use that same moon to charge spells. It's not two different. The tree of life is not different from the tree of knowledge, good and evil. It's the same thing. The same Bible that says, hold on. The same Bible that teaches you, if I said, do not drink the water, what am I also telling you in a subtle way that you can do? Think about the question. If I say to you, do not drink the water, I'm also telling you subtly that you can drink the water, that there's a possibility that you can drink. So the same tree of life is the same tree of knowledge, good and evil, in another form. If you get what I'm trying to say.
I'm going to say something. I hear you. I want you to hear where I'm coming from.
Gold bar. Hold on.
No, I'm going to say one more thing, because I got to go do a gym. I'm going to say a thing. Just think with life, a thing that is all about life, that its mind is locked into just life itself. That's everything that it sees, like it's jealous for itself, that it has to be produced life. I guarantee
We can tell that that's how
hold on, Elijah, I'm gonna finish life.
you can tell.
It would make a law said don't have graven images, because life no life in it. It will make a law also said boogery is abomination, because boogery no produce no life. Me I sure say the person will make the law them, he make a law them on a standpoint to keep life perpetually. The person, the mind of God then, is all about life. What you might think about, I just life. When you can't get to that, like he make things to always produce life. You can call it place. You can call the earth well of life.
All right, sword of life, you say you have to go. So let me just say one thing to you, and this is from me to you as a man to man, not from cosmic, whatever. You as a man to man. What I'm saying is, you don't have a problem with certain things. Your problem is really your internal beliefs, because once it's not worded according to your thinking and believing, you have to oppose it, even if you're confirming the same thing. Because like I said, everything you just explained and everything you explained earlier, you are proving polarities in your reasoning, and each time I say that, you just confirm it. You come back and try to prove otherwise. You are battling with your belief. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying to you now, but I'm speaking to you as a man. Go, Elijah is your friend. I hope Elijah understands what I'm saying and he can speak to you off the air, because I think you're battling with your belief. I don't know if anybody else who is listening can understand what I'm saying, but brother,
I hear you.
huh?
I hear you earlier on, host. and I was
Hold
not.
on, let me turn off the microphone. Go ahead.
Yeah, I heard you earlier on, and uh, I understand your. I didn't understand your point of view, you know. But the reason why I'm like this, right, is because everything I've outlaid is right before my face. It's not something that I come like was given because of another man theory. Everything I've outlaid, I guarantee if you observe it, it's within your face. This is the difference with what I give you, you know. I gave you something tangible that you could observe with your own eyes and process with your own mind rather than going to a book or going to some teachers. So what I'm trying to say is that I'm battling with my belief. My belief is right before my face. I've just explained that everything is made up by male and female, and these are the signs of life work to consistently produce life.
Because that's the same thing that you have been. What I'm saying, brother, only thing you have to do is the things that I'm saying to you, because remember, we don't know, it's the first time I'm coming across you, you're coming across me. What I'm saying is, what you need to do is go back and see if the things that I'm accusing you of, to see if there's a reality to them or there's no reality. Because what I'm saying is, you might be saying that there is no polarity, but when you come and explain evil and good, you're explaining polarity. When you explain life and death, you're explaining polarity. When you explain, but your belief is that there's no polarity. So what I'm saying is, your belief is a stumbling block, is a veil that is affecting you. And because you're so eager to speak and to get your point out, it is creating a bigger conflict. Your conflict is here. It's not the words that are coming out
Okay,
of my
okay.
mouth.
I'm gonna say one more thing. Hold on. Is there
Same
any
thing.
polarity? Is there any polarity in God that you see in God, in the Almighty?
To the Father himself, Yahweh. He himself is not polarity, but he carries a masculine side and a feminine, and these are two opposite energies. So, what you would call positive and negative, then these are two polar opposites. So
Okay,
that's,
okay. Would
but
you say the sun is positive? Would you say the sun is positive and the male and the female and the moon is negative?
yes, because the sun would be referring to like what you call the electric.
Okay,
Hold on,
okay.
brother. Hold on, brother. You ask a question. You allow me to speak. The sun would be like the electrical field, and the moon would be the magnetic field. So the coming together, the working of the moon and the sun alternately, that created the electromagnetic field. So this is why things are functional in the earth, because you need the moon for certain energies. This is why we go into a state of rest at nights, and then in the daytime we wake up and we're active. So the sun gives the active potency, and the moon gives the passive potencies. These are polarities. So it doesn't matter what word you want to use. If you
Okay,
go to
okay.
you keep cutting me off. Go ahead.
One more question. Would you say, so earlier on you said the Almighty is a consuming fire and the female counterpart that is with is water. Would you say the fire is a positive energy and the water a negative energy? Because when he made man, he said, let us make man in our own image. And then a water came upon the face of the earth and watered the face of the earth. And then he created man with that. So obviously something else external have came upon the face of the earth to water the face of the earth. You don't have
to go into an elaboration every time you ask a question, because what I'm getting from you now is like you're saying the sun is the creator and the moon is.
No, I've never said that. No,
I didn't say you're saying. Listen to brother. I'm not accusing you that you're saying. I'm saying what you're saying is giving that impression. I'm not saying you are saying it. I'm saying what you're saying is giving the impression. So what I'm saying, brother, if you have fire and you have water, these are polar opposite. I don't know if you understand what the concept when I said
that
polar
means you have a
opposite.
different God than me, then basically. Because
And we're not disputing that, but we're not disputing whether we have different gods. What I'm doing is I'm questioning your belief. I'm not questioning my belief. I'm questioning the things that you're saying, but what you're saying is not producing realities. That's all I'm saying. What you're saying, you think you're saying one thing, but you're really not doing it. Goldbar is Elijah is your friend. I don't know Elijah. I don't know timeline. When you speak to these men off the air, maybe they can elaborate more to you what I'm saying, because apparently my words are not reaching. The ego is blocking my words, so you're not understanding.
No, we're saying within the Bible. When
No, we're not dealing. Let's take the Bible out. No,
female created them. When
brother,
he finished made them, right? Did he say male and female created them?
you gave me a compliment. Hold on, you gave me a compliment earlier that you said this is the first host that does not mute or maybe kick you off. I think now I understand why you made that comment because I'm the host. I turn off my microphone most of the time you did the speaking. I'm the host. You see what I'm saying? But
Hey, host, when him
yeah,
said that, then I go put in that comments, but I go say, not yet, right? But me never murky up the water. Me allow him to do that himself.
It's funny because that's why I posted the Bible verse immediately after.
that came from your friend.
Yeah, man, words are scattering.
If I'm gonna allow you to speak, but I want you to look back when you get from the gym, take your shower. I want you to replay the whole conversation, and you can have these two men to guide you in the meditation because I really don't think you're understanding anything that I'm saying because you keep confirming that there's polarity, and then when I point it out that that's what you just did, you start to go to oppose it. So this is why I said you're battling with your belief, you're struggling with your beliefs. So you can go ahead and speak on. I'm going to turn off again. I wanted to pointed that out because that was what I got from it. That you behave in this way. This is why people cut you off or mute your microphone. But I don't want to do that. I want us to have respectful conversation. It doesn't matter who the person is. It doesn't matter what God you believe in or whatever you worship or whatever concept. I'm only going to question your beliefs. And that's what I did. I did not hold you accountable to the New Testament. I did not hold you accountable to certain things. I hold you accountable to your own beliefs. And I hope you understand that that's what I did. I did not try to impose my belief. I questioned what you were answering to me. Every answer you gave me, I questioned it. And it puts you in a position. It's messing with your brain cells. It's like it's frying your brain cells. The fire that you talk about, the consuming fire, it seems that consuming fire is consuming your brain cells. It's too much fire. It's burning up. You see what I'm saying? So you can go ahead and speak and yeah.
You talking to me now? Hello? Okay, all right. So, what I'm trying to ask you, if you have a wife in your house, right, you shall find male and female content within the household or in the environment of a male and female. If you're in a space of male and female, you go find male and female content. You go find one have the life that is the producer of the life, and one who is the receiver of the life, that grows the life, that nurtures the life, right? You're also gonna find their garments, their clothing, their children, of both of them. Now, everything we see in this space where we're in has two genders. Everything within the realm, male and female energy. I even told you that the earth, the east part of earth, where you see with Africa and Asia, I male that. And we see North and South America, I female. The Pacific Ocean, I male. And the Atlantic Ocean, I female. Right? And I'm showing you that we have two greater male and female here. See? So if you want to call it polar, I told you it's not, because the source itself, which is life, is a consistent, perpetual source that always generates life. I don't think you're seeing what I'm saying. When I said life, life is an eternal thing. It doesn't mean that we are like him. We're just his children that he could punish and say, hey, you know what? Because you're disobedient, you shall surely die. Remember, it's after they eat from the tree of knowledge of evil that they died, They didn't have to die. Nevertheless, it's life that we have in here, brother. You can't go around that. You just keep it exactly like me. The Almighty is not to take the word to the left and to the right. And that's what I'm doing. When I see I'm not up, when I'm not agreeing with you, I'm not taking it to the left nor to the right. I'm keeping it exactly like it is. That's obedience.
Said Elijah and Timeline seems to be your brethren. And I hope you guys gonna have your one-to-one reasoning after that. Like I said, I don't know Elijah. Matter of fact, I don't know any of you three. It's the first time I'm seeing you guys. And I think your friends can see my point. Like I said, your veil is your belief system, brother. And that's if you don't know what it's doing to you. If the people in the comments could come up and speak, probably they would say the same thing as me. They would share the same thought because it keeps going around, brother. You understand? So,
The
like I
king
said,
never
hold on.
bow down, So one day you never come to my white side.
The king never bows.
Yeah, so one day you will
No,
see
man.
that
No, let me tell you, a true king
truth,
know when to
it's the truth.
surrender.
The king have a truth.
A true king know when to surrender. A wise king knows when to surrender because sometimes
No,
you
no,
have to
no.
give
A
up.
king never. No, you see, king will come with the truth. Him can't surrender because him have to teach you them, and him can't take it fake and a lie and the indoctrination. You have to give you them a truth no matter what. You have to be consistent perpetually. The name Sword of Life. That means that the Almighty hand I king crown.
You know, what I understand from life it is that you are never too wise to learn something
No,
new.
I agree,
What
and
I
I
have
yield every time he says something that was
hold
right.
on, hold on, hold on. Take a deep breath. I've not finished. What I've recognized is that there is an ego within you that is defiant, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, to each his own. But the thing is that you become quite dismissive when something does not align with how you want it to be explained, because you've been repeating yourself for the better part of the conversation, quite literally. So even at one point, I think a couple of us even said we understand where you're coming from and we can agree with that aspect of things. However, there are greater things for you to glean from this, but you are so caught up in, and then you even went as far as to say, hey, it's because you don't study the Bible. But when he gave you the opportunity to bring up your Bible verses, from your Torah perspective, you weren't able to bring one. He had to bring one for you. So to say to him then now that, oh, you just don't have the knowledge, or you just don't understand, when you yourself could not produce the proof that you were trying to tout, is quite frankly two-sided. You understand me? So like he's trying to say to you, you're not quite getting it, because everybody else observing can see that you have backed yourself into a corner and dug yourself into a hole. So you will then think it over, because a wise man can always recap and think, you know what, maybe I was wrong, or maybe I was too hasty in my judgment here. That is the whole essence. You see, when you get to a point where you think you know too much and no one can teach you anything, that can teach you how far away from the knowledge of truth that you are.
Point that you make, but like I said, he's a man, so naturally what a man would do is to, when he gets his time, he's going to go back and internalize, replay. That's what we do as men. I don't know if he does it, but we replay a whole conversation in our heads and internalize things. So he has his brethren timeline and Elijah. I don't know any of you guys, and you guys can help him with that, because I know you see the points that have been made here are what I shared. You guys asked me questions. I answered all your questions, or I hope I answered all of them without deflecting, right? So with him he has answers that cannot be questioned, and that is the problem. You give an answer, but when your answers are questioned, it poses a problem here. This is why I said your problem is internally. It's not about what's written in the Bible. It's not about polarity. It's not about this or that. Your problem is here, brother. And that's something that you have to recognize, because if the ego is not surrendered, that king that you speak of, they're gonna shot through with an arrow. You remember that king that went in the chariot was that disguised himself?
I denounce that immediately. You don't say that. I'm gonna say something to you, brother.
Yeah, go ahead.
Always remain loyal to what is life, and that's what I've just done to you. What I've did, I stood by my name. My name right here, Sword of Life. A sword is a force, a pointed edge thing. That is a force, and that's what I displayed to you. And you can't call me exactly my name, because I've just laid it out before you a while ago. I've never faltered. I've never retreated. I came as a force defending life perpetually. That's what you saw. So that name.
What I see. Hold on. Hold on. Let me just tell you what I see. You said what I saw. Let me tell you what I saw. What I saw was you're defending a belief. You're not defending the sword. You are defending a belief. Go ahead.
It's not a belief. It's right before your face. It's something that you can see with your eyes to know. Hold on. No, hold on. Everything I've stated.
Yeah, bro, you know, say you have to work
everything,
out, bro.
it's right here before your
Bro,
face.
go work out and
Yeah, man, go work out and get
the
strong.
conversation. Yeah, man, and then when you done work
Go out
out,
to the gym, man. Go
Yeah,
out
you know
to
you
the
have
go
to
gym.
work
come
out.
back with
Go out to
the
the
same
gym.
thing, but go internalize the conversation, okay? You just have to try add words, bro. Man, yeah, man.
Man, Elijah.
And the man funny.
Elijah,
Like, the man
who's speaking? Elijah, you speaking?
No, sorry,
Okay.
man, listen to this.
Okay. What I'm saying is, I'm gonna ask you guys if you guys understood the things that I've been explaining and
Bro,
the
we have
question.
the same thing for months, bro. For hours and hours.
Okay,
You have
so
no patience, man.
this is a common thing with him because, like I said, the moment he made the
Bro,
when he gave me the
me see him all a go up on the Caucasian them live and them I say, bro, why I say no make sense, bro. So I know, don't feel isolated.
I've been itching to say this from ever since him come in with the compliments and you see me put in the Psalms, come and say, they come with flattering lips, right? And he then started to send me, I think he sent me something from TikTok, one of the TikTok gifts and thing. So you have to be able to discern the spirit that is operating. And I was able to
Hey,
deduct that.
listen, he's a brother, I know. Listen, him be sitting here and talk about love forever. Him people, him love God, but him love him concept also. And instead of what me always say is, sis, if you have the truth, you don't have to force it down nobody's throat. And if you have to force somebody to believe what you believe, something is wrong with it. And what me always say to him is, if you feel like you have to add too much word to prove your point, maybe your point off, you know? That's one other thing. But you're right,
yeah.
you
So
can pick up on the spirit. But I good youth, as I said, but the spirit off.
yeah, but his ego, his pride is standing in the way because when I mentioned about the king that was, he disguised himself and still got the shot by the arrow. That's what happens to a prideful king. Because what happened is that, let me tell you something about pride and humility, because I like to use tangibility to explain my points. With pride and humility from the Hebraic standpoint, right? If you go to war and the Most High wants to take all the bullets for you, right? If you're humble, you're gonna bend down before the Most High. You're gonna bow before the Most High. So all the bullets is gonna go over your head and it's gonna hit the Most High. He's the one that wants to take the bullets for you. But when you're prideful, you stand before him. So every shot that is fired, this is why we die. That's pride and humility. Humility makes you bow down before the word of God. You bow down before truth. You bow down before consciousness. But what he is loyal to his belief system. He thinks he's loyal to what he call it life. He's loyal to his belief system disguised under the word life. So this is why every time he speaks, he keep contradicting himself. Every time you ask him something, he deflects. Every time I said to you that, hey, you just confirmed the point that I just made. He start to go, oh, but once you hear the word, but brother, you're opposing. Now that you realize that that's what you did, you're trying to find another way now to oppose what you just said, and this is a cycle. I mean, I was just trying to hold him accountable to his belief. I never imposed what I believe on him. He wanted to go, like Empress mentioned earlier, he wanted to go Torah only because a lot of people, let me tell you, a lot of these people out there, because I use the New Testament, they think, oh, they're Torah only so they can come up against me. You have to rethink that thought because I'm very versed in Torah. Not because I use New Testament, it doesn't mean that I don't know Torah. I can go anywhere, and you see, I went exactly where he said he wanted to be. He said he's Torah only, so I hold it as the first 5 books in the Bible. I went there specifically to show him that I can stay anywhere you want to go. If you're New Testament, I can deal with you New Testament anywhere. If you're just consciousness, I can deal with you from that standpoint. So that sword that he's talking about, he needs to change that weapon or something. It's not working for him. I think he's just defending
It's
his
a
ego, his
pocket
belief.
knife.
Huh?
That's where there's a pocket knife.
Still, me don't. By the way, which part you guys from? Jamaica?
Yeah, man, Jamaica. Where you from?
Jamaica, me them, but you sound like one. Yo, you sound like one. Come tell me things. I want to bridging with their Canada. A Jamaican, from St. Thomas, but in their Canada, me think say him. So when me hear you say you don't know me, I just say, Bombaz, what I know you? Come think I want bridging from WhatsApp group.
No. I come from Mobile, live in New York for a while, and now I live in Puerto Rico. And Timeline come from Guyana,
Big up, man.
the land that they
Many
they claim
islands, you
is
know
the
what I'm saying?
island, the many islands.
Big up yourself, man. Many islands on the one island, you know what I'm saying? Happy
I
tomorrow.
Yeah, man. Enough respect to you know. Thank you guys for joining in. Thank you guys for tuning in, and those who listened. And I hope some of you guys got some knowledge or something to look into, or something to question, or something to go back and study. I want to tell you guys that I really appreciate the support that those who like the live and gave whatever you give. I really appreciate you guys. So hopefully I'll see you guys around next time, right? So
Definitely,
thank
man.
you guys.
We on here talking Bible every day, studying the scriptures. Sometimes whole 24, or if more hours an idea, that too. But what's to say you have enough knowledge, bro? Without definitely want
Yeah,
to come on same way
we'll drop him off.
and have some discussions. I'm pretty sure we can learn a lot from you, and you can learn a lot from us too. You know.
You guys, you both believe in New Testament or what?
Yeah,
What do you guys
bro.
believe?
Everything, bro. Apocrypha,
Oh,
Joshua,
so you said
Jubilees.
okay. I don't use those books, but I use
All
Apocrypha. But
right, all right. So we have discussions about stuff where we're not agree on already. That's good.
okay. So what you talk? What you say?
Elijah.
You say you guys talk on here. What you say you study? You guys have WhatsApp? You guys have WhatsApp?
We're on here. We have WhatsApp. Yes, we can exchange numbers and things like this. But we're on. There's like a little community of believers and non-believers who are growing and share information. Same like how you see where I move right here. We're on each other's lives and stuff, and we discuss Bible all day depending on the topic. You know, it's a big community.
It's on your platform.
A
You
big,
said.
no, not
Hold
on
on.
my platform. I'm saying like other people's lives. Like how you have your live up right now, timeline have him live up sometimes. I've never been live, but I assist basically. I'm all in the scriptures just like you.
Oh, okay. I understand. Okay, I understand. So hopefully we know that we're familiar with each other. We might see each other around again and so forth. Then
Yeah,
so
man,
we
definitely,
can.
definitely.
Yeah, and Apple, thank you so much for your kind words. Your yeah. So you guys take care now, and we'll see each other.
All
Shalom,
right, bless
guys.
up, brother.
Yeah,
Bless,
man. All
bless.
right.
Take it easy.